Hey guys, TJ back here with another video. This one I wanted to discuss something that's the dog is walking around outside that is very relevant these days, at least in my opinion, my personal opinion. Okay, my personal beliefs. Hands down, accessibility for the disabled in video games is something that is increasing, especially on mobile devices. Computers, a bit, not as much as mobile, but the main bread and butter is console gaming is back in the Stone Age, practically speaking. We have accessibility features for the disabled, such as text-to-speech and closed captioning and stuff like that for blind or hearing or deaf or whatever. But and that's for PlayStation. For Xbox, it's called narrator and something else. I don't even know what's called on Xbox, but anyway. So the general gist of this hopefully decent commentary is, at the end of the day, gamers with disabilities play games as well. Might sound crazy, but that blind guy at your school, he might be playing Mortal Kombat. That deaf girl at your school might be playing Little Planet or something. I don't know. You never know. They could be playing games too, and it sucks because games are so visual that a lot of blind people can't, that a lot of blind or visually impaired people cannot access them, or games are so basic in their audio or their visual aspects that people who are deaf don't understand what's going on. Now, I have three games in particular that I'm going to talk to you guys about. So, first off, Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2 on the original Xbox had pretty good accessibility features, especially for the hearing impaired. So, for those of you who don't know, Left 4 Dead was a 4-player cooperative zombie survival game, basically, in action and zombies and stuff. Zombies, come on. So, the gist of it is this. So you guys see the text on screen. I don't, obviously, but you guys see the text. Now imagine you're in game and the text is floating around. It was small enough to where it wouldn't bug you, but it was large enough to be noticed, and the text was different colors and had different outlines for different objects. So like you had like a green text with a green outline around a certain object defined as ammo for your weapon, or red for a laser sight, or blue for a gun, and it would change color based on if you picked it up or not. Like you had blue for inactive, then yellow for when you picked it up or something. And the text was very descriptive. It when you had subtitles turned on, it of course told which character was talking, obviously, but also it would give you or give you text indicators for sounds that people who are hard of hearing would not hear, such as like there's a class of zombie called a tank, and it would say tank is over here, and it would have the text floating on the screen towards where the tank is at, and have the big arrow pointing at the tank, so you can tell it's like, oh, the tank is right there, it's behind that wall or whatever. And this happens for a lot of zombies and different things and weapons and objectives and whatever in Left 4 Dead and 1 and 2. So that's a very good way to make a game accessible for the hearing impaired. Now for the next bit is Uncharted 4. Now there's a video I searched up, and I will put the link in the description if you guys are interested. The short version is this guy with a disability reached out to Naughty Dog, and he had a one-on-one discussion with some of the developers, and they decided to put in place accessibility settings for the disabled. One of the problems that he particularly and a couple of his friends had, apparently, and I mean by a couple I mean like a lot of people, was that they couldn't finish the game due to they couldn't mash the button fast enough for the QTE to be completed. So it's like mash X to open the door or whatever. He couldn't do that because his motor functions in his hand were a bit limited, and so what he had to do was he could not finish Uncharted 2. And so Naughty Dog decided to put a feature where you enable the feature, and you can just press and hold the button instead of mash it. So you can just press and hold it, no big deal. Another one was people had trouble with the dual analog function, meaning you had the left analog for movement, right analog for camera, which bugged everybody, and they decided to fix it so the right analog stick was less used, so the camera followed you more closely, and it worked a lot better. So those are two examples. Again, the link will be in the description. Also, the last one I want to talk about is Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Obviously, those of you who already know about my channel, know that I love Black Ops 3, and I will continue to upload it till the day I die, unless new CODs or something I play is more accessible. Now, for those of you who don't know about my channel, I'm completely blind, and my point of view on video games is this: they're here to have fun. That's what they're meant for. I mean, yeah, you can play competitive and get money all you want, but at the end of the day, it's more important to have fun and be entertained than it is to be a, well, jerk sometimes. I mean, some people can be jerks. Now, Black Ops 3 is one of the most accessible first-person shooters I have ever heard of in my life. For two reasons. Okay, more than two. I lied. Quite a few reasons. One being, each weapon has a distinct sound when you fire. So you take the KN-44 assault rifle. You shoot, it has a different sound from the Man of War assault rifle. Same when they both have suppressors on them. They both have different reload sounds. And not to mention, if you have a suppressor on the weapon you can't tell what it is, just try and pay attention to the rate of fire. If it's quicker, then most of the time it's a VMP or Vesper, and some, you can pay attention by the rate of fire and the reload, of course. Now, that's one reason, is diversity in sound for the weapons. Another one is diversity in characters. So you have different characters with different character quotes. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about here.
I am no stranger to death.
Ready for deployment.
What's the prey?
Failure will not be tolerated.
Nomad ready.
So, very clear to tell which character is which, and this helps a lot, especially in things like team deathmatch, kill confirm, domination. For those of you who might have color blindness, or maybe you play with a headset but your vision isn't the best, maybe you need glasses or something, you can hear which characters are on your team and which are on the enemy team. You can tell which enemies are using which weapons based on the sound of the weapon, and this is something I do every day. Now when I play TDM or anything, team-based, I quickly listen to the character quotes on my team. When the match starts, they each have something to say, and I can tell, okay, this guy is on my team, so if I hear him running around his quote, then that's friendly, and that works very well. And if I hear like the KN-44 off in the distance, and none of my team have a KN, then I know that's the enemy, and I can run over and try and shoot him and take his tag or whatever, depending on the game mode. Now, Black Ops 3 is very accessible in that the diversity of the weapons and the characters make it easy to identify threats and friendlies, but also what makes it much, much easier and just makes this game so easy to play, honestly, at least from my perspective. Maybe those of you who are blind or visually impaired and just barely starting, it might be a pain for you to do, but two of the things that make it easy are the clear sound indicators for menu navigation. So just listen to this for a second. That was the create a class sound, so now listen again. You have 5 classes. Hit X again on the first one. Very clear sounds for when you're navigating. Now this is easy to tell that this is a grid. You have your most common is the primary, secondary, lethal, tactical, perk, perk 1, 2, 3. And then this is like your secondary lethal, your second lethal, second tactical, second perk, second, all this stuff. Or second perk 1, second perk 2, second perk 3. And then you have your wild cards, which are like perk 1 greed, which allows you to have another perk, like another perk 1s like blind eye and sixth sense, and perk 2 greed, perk 3 greed, overkill, which allows you to have 2 primary weapons, primary gunfighter 1, primary gunfighter 2, which allows you to have like 4 or 5 attachments on your primary weapon. Like there's just a lot of things in here. There's a lot of good sound indicators. Now I'm gonna show you another one so you can hear very clearly. Listen. There's different sounds for when you exit to the main menu and go into like multiplayer and zombies, so listen to this. For example, in zombies, the Dr. Monty's thing is very distinct, and you can hear it very clearly. Let's go back to multiplayer and just hit X again. I don't know if you guys heard that, but yeah, there's some little sounds for multiplayer, little sounds for zombies and whatever. Now, what the point of this commentary is this. Right now, in terms of gaming, this is the least expansive, or not expansive. I'm trying to think of the correct word here. Console gaming for the disabled is like, it's way behind. It's like 10 years behind. In terms of mobile gaming, we have new games on mobile devices, iPhone, Android, all that, app stores, whatever, that are accessible with TalkBack for the blind on Android and Google phones, and accessible for VoiceOver for the blind on Apple devices. Now, in terms of computers, we have accessible things for VoiceOver on the Mac. We have accessible things for Java accessibility with speech, or JAWS, on PC. We have narrator. I don't even know if narrator is accessible with anything. I don't test it. And narrator is the free one that's on Windows 7 and later, just for information. But in terms of console gaming, there's not much accessibility, at least particularly for the blind, for the visually impaired, for the blind. We have some games where they offer colorblind assist. We have some settings on the PlayStation which offer large text, bold text, color inversion, high contrast, zoom magnification, like zoom gestures kind of. We have that type of stuff, but I don't know what works and it doesn't work in game. So like the text to speech does not read anything in game. It just does not read at all. And even then, the text to speech does not read very many things in the PlayStation menus themselves. So it'll read like messages, and it'll read party stuff, so I can read people's names and stuff. But I can't read anything else. I want to know my trophies. I want to know my notifications. I want to know who's online, who's offline. Maybe go to my communities and check what's going on there, and maybe join a match on there for zombies or something. There's a lot of things I want to do, but the limitations of the text-to-speech on the Sony PlayStation are just too limiting, honestly, compared to what we have in terms of phones and computers and stuff like that. And my phone is going on crazy. Sorry, but anyway, chill phone. But like I was saying, at the end of the day, this is my passion, to hopefully educate and provide tips and tricks for those with disabilities to be able to play video games. And that's what I'm going to tell you right now. The key to playing Black Ops 3, if you're blind or visually impaired, is one, you're going to have to suck it up, but if you want it, you gotta shell out some cash. You gotta get a good gaming headset, something like Turtle Beach's, or what I use. I use a Turtle Beach Recon Pro headset. You gotta get a good gaming headset. You can't just rely on your earbud. Those like school candies or even Bose don't work. They don't. I've tried them, trust me, and they don't work. So you gotta shell out a bit of cash and get a gaming headset first. Second of all, I'd recommend have a sighted friend in the room with you, or maybe over the PlayStation, talk and help you walk through the menus and learn them as best you can, so you can set up your classes and your kill streaks and your specialists and all this other stuff on your own. And I recommend play custom games against the AI or the bots. Put them on recruit and just get familiar with how the sound works in the game. For those of you who don't know, Black Ops 3's sound design is realistic to the point where echo vibrations can be heard when you throw grenades. When you throw a grenade at in an open area, there's going to be slight vibrations like metal and various things around the grenade, and so you can get identifying markers about where you're at through sound vibrations. There's various sounds in the game, such as waterfalls or birds or electronic sounds, depending on where you are on the map, and there's various little things. And on top of all that, learn the sounds of all the guns and all the characters in the game, because it'll help you distinguish enemy and friendlies. Also, 2 key perks in the game that are going to help immensely, especially if you have no vision at all, are Awareness and Sixth Sense. Awareness is a tier 3 perk which enhances enemy footsteps to be much louder, so you can distinguish them a lot easier. And Sixth Sense is a tier 1 perk which gives an audio cue for when enemies are nearby, like a little ping sound almost. But visually, what it does is on the minimap. This is speculation. I don't know. Like, people have told me this thing. But on the minimap, what happens is if you have, low vision, this will help you probably. But on the minimap, when you hear the sound, the minimap will glow red in the direction of the enemy, which direction they're in. And I figured the 3 perks in the game that are essential for those with disabilities are Sixth Sense and Awareness, and the only one I can think of that might help anybody with a disability, maybe minor or maybe even major, is Tracker. So Tracker is a tier 2 perk, and it basically allows you to see enemy footsteps. Literally. So, say like an enemy is running around a corner and you are looking at the floor, or not necessarily the floor, but you can see their imprint of their footsteps. And so it allows you to track enemies. I can imagine that being useful, especially if you're in a close quarters map, very chaotic game mode, and you have like multiple people running around and doing a bunch of jumping and boosting and everything. I'm sure Tracker for someone who's colorblind might help a lot because you can see the tracker imprints. Or even if you have low vision and you're using awareness and sixth sense, maybe your vision's enough to where maybe you can see some of the player models, and maybe the tracker footsteps are bright enough to where you can distinguish, oh, okay, that's enemy. Maybe. I don't know. It's speculation, of course. Now, like I said, video games are to have fun. And people with disabilities do play video games. Not as many. I mean, there's quite a lot of us. Now, to my knowledge, I'm one of the only ones in the world to have played Black Ops 3, or at least Black Ops 3, and be fairly decent. I consider myself a decent player. Not great, not good, but decent. And personally speaking, it was challenging at first, but there are videos that I searched up and they were able to help me learn weapon sounds and character sounds and whatever, so I was able to do it. Took me a minute, but I got it done. And I hope to educate people about blindness and accessibility for the disabled in games, and hopefully provide decent tips and tricks. In fact, I'm thinking about doing a series on the most accessible game mode to the least accessible game mode, meaning what are good and bad game modes depending on your disability. Now, I'm going to focus on blindness and visual impairment. I may traverse or explore hearing impairment, because I can tell you right now, domination is one of the game modes where someone with a visual impairment probably can't capture the flags for domination, but maybe someone with a hearing impairment can see the flags and hop on them and still be able to take it. Like vice versa for fracture. Maybe someone with a hearing impairment doesn't notice. They have good vision, but they don't notice the the core files. But someone who's blind and is paying attention with their headset can hear the core files, pick them up, and run them to the deposit thing. And in fact, I released a video saying Fracture is the most accessible game mode of Black Ops 3. I'm gonna re-record that one because that one I feel like wasn't a clear enough example. So, hope you guys enjoyed the commentary. I'm actually gonna start a match now with the Weevil SMG, and I don't know how to spell it, so I'm not gonna put it in the title. But I'm going to hopefully go for the win, and if I can pull it off, that'd be great. Hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay or commentary and gameplay. Don't forget to like, comment, share this video if you have the same interest as me in terms of trying to make things accessible for people with disabilities and make it fair for everybody so everybody can play and be part of it and enjoy the game and enjoy gaming in general. Then feel free to share this video with your friends, family, whoever might be interested. And also don't forget, if you're new around here, subscribe. I'm a completely blind individual myself, and this is my passion, is to make games accessible one day, and be one great thing to happen. Hope you guys enjoy the gameplay. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I sound like a broken record at this point, but at the same time, yeah, it's alright. In my opinion. I'm just kidding.
Party. On. Party. On 98 party. Party privacy. Adjust audio mix. Chat audio. Chat.
for all.
I was wrong. It's the Weevil, not the Feral. Wrong one. Oops.
Black Ops, you're clear
Quick menu.
to engage.
Spawn 9. Adjust audio. Chat audio. Chat audio. Prioritize.
I was wrong. It's the Weevil, not the Feral. Sorry, guys.
Chat audio. Party.
They're gone.
Mad kill.
Hostile UAV spotted.
Battery KIA. Kill.
Man down.
Swarm traps ready.
Be advised. Hostile hater in your AO. Hostile back support in your AO.
Wait.
Guardian ready for deployment. Hostiles have destroyed your Guardian.
Be advised. Hostile UAV incoming.
Scenario untenable. Bugging out.
Quick menu. Party. One player. On. Power. Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Currently playing with. Button. Call of Duty. Currently playing with. Call of Duty.
Mess with the best. Die like the rest.